All right, good morning, everyone. Just taking a couple minutes here to get started. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. The plan. Sorry, I'm just clicking around on a couple things. The plan is to prepare for this afternoon and evening's HipComic auction, Quality Comics. Kind of a part two, if you will, of the first prep video where I went into a lot of detail as far as using a spreadsheet and kind of got into the details of how the spreadsheet works. This is really going to be picking out the books and adding them to the sheet. So I do have my assistant here with me who's insisting on helping this morning. Eventually, he'll kind of move on to a different project, let's say. But I apologize that he's here. I apologize for him. Anyway, so let me pull up the auction and then pull up the spreadsheet and we'll kind of get going here. All right, and just bit me. Thank you. Switch to this. So what I ended up doing is just creating a copy of the last auction sheet here. So these are a couple of leftovers. Okay. And then we need the actual auction as well. Okay, so here is the HipComic auction. They run auctions all the time, and I'm sure as the platform grows, it will become more and more popular. And what I like about it is at least the auction sessions they're limited to that particular seller and their books. So instead of it just being eBay, where it's just one continuous flow of auctions that are ending, you can see here by session, which I think is kind of nice. So if you had the time or the interest, like I do today, I have the time to prep and then also participate, but you can kind of schedule out different auctions that you'd like to take a look at. So this is the Quality Comics Premium Auction that ends today at 7 Eastern. And for better or worse, everything's just alphabetized. So I'm going to, the way that I approach the auctions is, I look at the scan, I look at the title, the basic properties of the comic. I click into the scan and I'm just kind of eyeballing it, saying this is probably a book that I would like to assess. Then what will happen is not every book that is up for auction, I won't be able to get all of the data or all of the numbers. So what happens is I want to first track the books that I want to track. And then if for some reason my spreadsheet information is incomplete, I'll go back, figure out, what pricing value information do I not have, and then I'll go ahead and add that later. So it's more critical that I just track the book. So I have to go in alphabetical order. So if you're kind of tired of seeing Alpha Flight and Amazing Spider-Man, not entirely my fault here, just because it's just the way it is. So it's alphabetized, yes, but it's also in the order with which the auctions are ending. So let's get into it. So the first thing, Alien Worlds, is something I'm going to track. And my process is, first, let's just tag it. So that's the easiest thing. So if you're not doing any spreadsheet analysis, I'm just going to come in here and just start favoriting or watching the item. and then I'll just right click to open it in a new tab and take a look. And some things that I've been doing is I would track the book and then come back and look at the scan and say, actually, that's not a book that I want. So just, I'm going to try and be as quick as possible with my general assessment. And I'll just kind of talk through in my head real quickly what I'm looking at. But I certainly see a little bit of corner whitening on both of those corners. Minor color breaking spine ticks here. So if I'm giving it a quick assessment, I can look at the back real quick too. And I always just try and be conservative so I'm not disappointed, but probably 9.2 on that one. So I'll copy the URL and then I'll just start replacing this information. Oops. Nope. I think I made it bold. There we go. Now it's Alien Worlds. Before I get into the comic details, the other thing I have to track is figure out when this thing ends so I can sort it later. And I'll see I have 10 hours, 8 minutes. So I go 10 hours, 8 minutes, and then this is calculated for me, so I don't have to do the math. And then I just want to put in ends static, and then my time left actual here, 10 hours and 7 minutes. I can then go back and sort the sheet by this so that I can see which auctions I want to participate in that order. So let me get my analysis tracking open so I don't have to put these in by hand. So that's the other thing is, or the last thing I should say is, you're going to put in Alien World, some of the details around it. I believe I am tracking prices on that book, Alien Worlds #1, and I do. Okay, good. So then I go ahead and grab just some of the text. Otherwise, you're typing in by hand, pasting it in there. And then in terms of max grade, I'm thinking this is a 9.2, and it maxes 9.2 probably. It's saying I don't have values for 9.2. Let's see about 9.4. I'll kind of do that just to get some value in there. Checking my tracking to see what I have. Look at this different sheet. It bothers me a little bit when I see zeros come in, because yeah, you see a cat. Yeah, I know. There's nothing I can do. He's just here. So yeah, this book in a 9.8 is around $100. 9.6, and then does it fall off? Yeah, I don't have 9.2 information. Nothing. Yeah, so I have no 9.2 averages on this one. So I'm just going to leave that max grade 9.4 just in case it does need a quick press or something. But so a good example here, maxing out at 36.50. And then when you start to look at max bid of 36 cents, basically that's saying, no, don't bother. And that's hard for me, right? So that's a good example of the book is something that I would love to have in high grade. But just being honest, and if we kind of zoom in, like, is it a 9.8? No. Was I too harsh? Was I wrong? Is it maybe a 9.4? And this is where you start to kind of mess with your emotions. So, or is it a 9.6? So if I go 9.4, 9.6, then is it worth bidding on? And still, bid max is $4. So what are we at right now? 375. You know, again, just trying to keep myself honest here. As I'm looking at these books, like, did I just overgrade the book just so I could bid on it? I'll probably stay away. Honestly, I don't think it's a 9.6. I think it's a 9.4. It's unfortunate because I like the book, but I'm just not going to be able to acquire it here in this auction. So I'll track it. I'll see. Curious to see where it ends, but I really, really have to do a better job of sticking to the plan because if you saw my last video when I opened those books up for Infinity auctions, it's not that they don't have any value. I could certainly read them, and I would get a lot of value from the story, assuming the story is good. I get all of that. There's value in seeing a nice full run of Captain America. I get all that. But I could probably have picked them up for a lot less, and that's the whole point. The point is not to always make money off of comic books. The point is being smart with how you're spending your money, right? You have to do that. That's the one thing we can all do together, is be as honest and as intelligent as we can with how we're spending. That's why I do a lot of this. Sean Hanna says overbid. I've never done that, right? Like, you start to just tell yourself things. You start to like almost coach yourself, like, it's all right. You can overbid on that one. You love this book. You've always wanted to add this book to your collection. It's okay. Bid $5, bid $6. You know, we all have these, well, I have these voices. I shouldn't speak for everybody. But again, let's stop with that. Let's quiet the voices, and let's be a little bit more analytical, just to help, help our wallets out. Now, Alpha Flight 1 is another one. I want to track it. Let's take a look. And yeah, I'm anxious, like, okay, let me copy the URL, let me copy the data and get this thing going. And then I go back and I look at the scan and I'm like, oh, not quite. So they've had this book up before. To me, it looks almost the same. We've got some sort of color issue at the top. I don't have any books back from Quality Comics to see if, in fact, it is color rub or color loss there, or color's been erased off of it. I am skeptical about it, though, so I want to be mindful of that. And some sort of rusting or foxing, just light on this one. And this is what I'm talking about, like right there. I don't think that's the flash of the camera. Right up there, that doesn't look good. Spine looks all right. Color break there. And then if I zoom in on the back, I just don't know what to make of all of that. I know that you can have super sharp and crispy books that have a bit of foxing, and you're not really dinged all that much. I mean, I got, I had to send it back to CGC for mechanical errors, but I did have a nice Strange Tales book that had quite a bit of foxing, and I got a 9.2. So I know it's possible, and there were other structural issues with the book too, but it looked to me like a 9.4, 9.6, but the foxing dropped it a couple of grading tiers. Yeah, it is hitting 6 a.m. on the West Coast, so I'm leaning on that coffee this morning. So on second thought, I'm not going to track it. It's just, you just sort of have a gut reaction like you would at a comic book convention or an LCS. You're kind of picking up a book, you're looking at it, you take it out of the bag, hopefully, you're just like, you just kind of have a reaction. It's just your experience. I kind of have to do that with scans. I don't want that Alpha Flight 1 in that condition. This book came up before, Alpha Flight 19. Just give it a quick once over. The darker covers are always interesting to me, just to see if we can get away with... Okay, now he just bit me. Bye. And he left. The darker covers are interesting to me because I want to see, and that one has a pretty nasty spine tick right there that breaks color. I like this book, but I'm not going to do anything with it. Alpha Flight 19, it has a raw value of like $4, and it's $1, right? So you're like, for $1, maybe it's worth it. Okay, yeah, I could argue that. Like, I mean, we're gonna get into a bidding war to try and win this for $2. Quickly back to the chat. Sean Hanna says a few HOP treatments will take care of most of that foxing. Yeah, I believe you. I do believe you. Am I going to do that? Are you going to do that for me? Am I going to have to pay somebody to do it? Yes, but then I build in the analysis of it all. I build in the cost involved to do something like that when I'm looking at putting together my bid ranges. So, for example, if Alien Worlds, if I was not going to pay for any sort of yeah, okay, you guys are not helping in the chat. You're just telling me to bid on everything. If I was not going to send this book away for pressing and cleaning, then I could increase my bid range, but that's part of the formula. I guess I should have explained it. Is I am factoring in the cost to get the book graded, the shipping cost, but also the cost to get the book pressed and clean. And that cost I just in general put $15 because of everyone's kind of charging a different rate at this point, and there's also some shipping involved. Some of these pressers will offer a whitening process or a heat spot. I don't even know the exact terminology because it's still new to me, and also it's a little bit of a mystery and it's kind of magical. I am learning more about it, but anyway, if I'm going to pay somebody else, I bake all of that into the formula to determine, even after all of that, is it worth bidding on? And maybe I have a couple of ranges. I think if you guys are interested in that, where it's like, are you going to press and clean it or are you not? And again, you have to be honest with yourself. So if you're like, nope, Alien Worlds looks fine as is, I'm not going to touch it, then yeah, your bid max is probably somewhere around $4 or $5, or up to 15, because that $15 amount is not there. Spot hop. Thank you, Sean. So it depends, but for me, my current process is sending books out to a presser and letting them deal with it. So therefore, I'm putting in my cost involved in that to determine my bid ranges, for better or worse, and that's just what I've decided to do. I'm passing on Alpha Flight 19, excuse me. Just looking at the quick 9.8 maxes, 9.6s. That's not a 9.8. It's not a max of 9.8. So I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm cheating a little bit here. It'd be nice to put everything in here very quickly and see what the numbers are. And I think I could do that here. Let's try this instead of me looking off camera. So I have to put something in here, and let's say it maxes 9.6 and it's a 9.2 again. And if I go Alpha Flight 19 and I grab the text, and you can see 9.6 of 19, 280. You know, bid try and win the book for $1.86. The other thing, early on I was doing a CGC unboxing, and it's always funny, some of the I'm not gonna track 19. I don't want it. It's funny, some of the comments that you get, or some of the conversations you have with people that kind of stick in your head. I was doing a CGC unboxing, and this guy left a comment basically saying, my books were barely worth lunch money, so there's no reason for me to stress over a book getting a 9.8 or a 9.6 or a 9.4. So the sort of like lunch money comics is kind of like, when I look at Alpha Flight 19, it feels like it's a lunch money comic. So I'm just going to leave it alone for now. So again, just kind of eyeballing, what is it that I want to get into? Certainly Amazing Spider-Man is going to be interesting to me. Also, I'm probably going to go another 45 minutes. I do have a hard stop before 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. So I am going to cut it there. Again, you can always contact me, Moneyball Comics at gmail.com, or find me on social media and send me a DM if you have any questions. Also, more than welcome to become a channel member. You can join on my channel and contact me through there, and we can have a conversation about some things. So lots of different ways to keep the conversation going beyond just this video. You can always leave a comment as well, but I'd rather get to some of the more focused tracking on some of these books. So I'm just going to keep going here. If you're in the chat, thank you for being in the chat. If you're watching and you're not chatting, that's cool. But you're always welcome to drop me a line. If you're also playing along at home and you're into the HipComic auction, and you find a specific book you're interested in, drop it in the chat. I'll jump ahead to that book and we'll put it in the tracker and put some ranges together. I'm prepping myself, but if you need some assistance prepping, or you're curious, like what would your max be on this book, call it out. Let me know. I'll find it and we'll do it. So I'm just going to open these. I'm essentially kind of always in the market for Amazing Spider-Man. If there's a book like this, and I feel like, hey, this is Keith Pollard cover here. It looks good. I mean, just at first glance, first assessment, this looks good. I see some color loss up here in the corner. But this book looks great. I'm noticing probably going to have a stack increase, just a way that the scan, you can see down here in the corner. Maybe we'll zoom in on this one. Down here in the corner, you can see there's just that bit of a wave. So I think all these books need a press, so I don't have to, try and sell you on it. But right there, obviously, that would have to be at least dry cleaned. Same thing with down there. It's too bad we can't get rid of this Star Trek and replace it with Star Wars, but that's all right. Lots of color rub here on the back. So, still a great book for the age. I'll probably track it. Amazing Spider-Man 202. So what I do in the spreadsheet, I just clone the record and I start copying and pasting information. Amazing Spider-Man 202. I'm going to grab the text. If I'm not grabbing the text, then I'm just typing this in. There's nothing magical or special I'm getting from my list here. It just saves me from typing. So I'm going to find the title, drop that in. And then from a grade perspective, this stands for assessed grade. I just had to abbreviate it. Don't report me. There's this one really is. There's a lot of color loss, but structurally it looks pretty good. Again, I have to be quick with this. There's a lot of books in the auction. I think there's like 600. So I have to get faster at how I quickly assess. But it's probably a max of 9.4. So 9 to 9.4, something like that. It's probably the general range. But again, pretty good. 68.50 on that one. I do want to track the time left, so I'm gonna bid on this one, or at least see where it ends. 9 hours 53 minutes. Grab that. Again, this is just for sorting purposes later. And then so let's check out the range on this one. 580. And it's at 550. So yeah, I'll throw 580 on there. Amount must be greater or equal to 6. Okay, I missed that when I bid. Then I'm out. There's plenty of comics. I tell myself that all the time. There's plenty of comics. I'm not getting in a bidding war at $7, $8. You could argue, press that yourself, save some money. I get it, but I'm out at 550. If you want to go in and bid 6, go ahead. But again, if you're looking at it, you cannot fix color loss. You can't take a Sharpie to that book, and it's going to max out at 9.4, and the CGC 9.4 value of that book is 68.50. So you could still say, hey, I'm going to bid $6. I'll spend $30 door to door. Really nice profit there of roughly $30. Okay, that's fine. And you want to work on that book yourself. That's where I think maybe it would be helpful to kind of like, it's almost like to press myself or to have somebody else do it. And what are those ranges? Like if we didn't need to press at all. But I would still argue there is a cost involved, even if you are pressing yourself. And so I challenge those in the chat that are professional amateurs at pressing, material cost and so forth. Is it $4 a book, $5, $10? What's your honest cost to press and clean your own books? ASM 203. This is when Dazzler comes into Meet Spider-Man. Obviously miswrapped, so it's not going to get that really cool CVA sticker. But first glance looks okay. And back looks really nice too. You'll see down here at the bottom, I want to jump in, is there's a little bit of folding. I just want to make sure when I see this, sometimes I think there's a tear, but down here, that corner would have to be dry cleaned and then pressed out, and that's okay. That's not bad. So that being there, which it's hard to tell if there's color break going all the way across, but it looks okay. It looks like a pretty solid copy. It's definitely dirty. But yeah, that I know that can be cleaned up. But it's just, it has a dirty back cover. It's unfortunately come across the wrapping, but I like books like this because it can be cleaned up, but there's no tearing, there's no color. Like what I look for are tears, color loss, and any other color breaks, spine ticks, and so forth. This book looks exceptionally strong aside from the dirt. So this could max out a 9.8 if all of that is cleaned up, just because everything else is really, really nice. Even in the trade, it's dulling through because of the dirt and a little bit of the just whatever other gunk is on the cover. Same thing. So some of the white would have to be whitened up a little bit, not through a process, just an eraser. And it's 99 cents. So yeah, this is a book that I like to target. Let's see if the numbers hold up on this one, though, to see if it's worth my time. But of course, I'm going to be generous with the grading and say it's probably a 9.2 with the dirt, but I think it maxes 9.8. And we'll say ASM 203. 189.50 on that one. So that's a good sign. And we've got time left, 9 hours, 49 minutes. And I wish that process was a little faster to do this. And maybe I just don't track the time and just go in order and just... I'm looking to cut down on the process too. I want to grade more quickly and cut down on the amount of data that I'm trying to put in here or trying to fix. I really like the item URL, and I want to know my bids basically. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this done as fast as possible. So again, because I put 9.8, that's what I'm saying it will max. And this is a book that I'd like to acquire and then send out for professional cleaning and grading. And if I were to do that whole process end to end, I could bid up to $19 for that book. It's currently 99 cents. So when these books are 99 cents, I'll just start with my opener, $6.35. Because this is what happens sometimes. These books slip through the cracks. And there we go. So I'm the high bidder. Because I'm bidding on the book, I'll get a notification if I'm outbid. And if I'm outbid, then I come back and I'll take it to the next tier. The other thing is, if I know I'm not going to be available to watch this book, I just go ahead and put my max in. I'm not going to do that on camera, although you see the value in case you want to bid against me, so you won't know if I come in here and put my max in. But that's kind of the general plan, is start with the opener. As we get closer, maybe extend it out to the target. And then if you're going to be AFK for the auction, go ahead and drop your max in there and then just walk away. And that's another way to avoid overbidding, is put your max in and don't watch it. And then come back later after the auction's over and see what you won. Next is ASM 204. I really, really like this one with the black cat cover. John Romita Jr. on cover art on this. And again, look, my first assessment, a little bit far away from the book. Obviously, it's a scan, a photo, but it looks great. It's very well centered. You can see the lettering here. Really, really nice. And then very typical of these, there's just some dirt down here, but this looks to be a very, very strong copy. So I'll zoom in a little bit just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Not sure if that's art or something there on the spine, but yeah, really nice. I like this one. Then checking the back again one last time. Just kind of giving it a once over. It's not the cleanest copy on the back. There's definitely either some ink or dirt. Corner looks pretty good. Again, just trying to Is that a 9.8 out of the chute? No. I'd say this is probably in better shape than the other book. This is ASM 204. And I said 9.2 to 9.8, and I'm going to say 9.4 to 9.8. It's probably not going to affect the range too much. ASM 204. $323 for that one in a 9.8. And I am going to skip the time. Just I can come back later and fix this, but I'm not finding this to be as useful as I originally thought. This is another reason for channel members that get access to some of my spreadsheets, or I'm creating new sheets that they have access to based on my spreadsheets. This will be the next sheet I make available, but as you see, I'm still kind of toying with some of the information that I would say would be required to put in here. You basically want to say, this is the book, this is the link to the book, this is the grade I think I'm giving it, the min and the max. Tell me what I should bid. Like, that's the whole point of this sheet. So this will be made available to channel members at the comic book analysis tier when it's ready. It's not quite there yet. Still working on it. All right. So just to keep it simple, I'm going to ignore the time left for right now. In fact, I'm just going to hide it so that it's just out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to hide that column. And I think I was hiding these as well, just to, yeah, that way we don't have to do a lot of scrolling. So this way I can go much faster. So really, really nice range here in terms of what I want to spend and expectations. I can spend up to $33.91, send that book off for professional grading and cleaning, and still I still have the potential there to have a nice book in high grade, and even 9.6s on that one. So it's around a $300 to $320 9.8, but even 9.6s somewhere in like the $90, 90 to 100. So that's pretty good as well, in case it doesn't work out completely in a 9.8. All right, so 11.30 is my opener. It's already at 15.50, so I'm going to go ahead and go 22.61 and place the bid. 18.50. So, yep. And this will probably, unless you snipers in there are watching me do this and you go, ha, I know his max bid, I'm going to bid 23. It'll probably end around 22, 23. I may get in there last minute and bump it, but we'll see. So 18.50 right now for that book in that condition. That's an absolutely fun and great comic to experiment on. And again, there's some risk that's been built in here, where if that book were to come back in a 9.4, even when it's all said and done, that's still a pretty safe bid. 9.4 is that book, around $60. Okay, let's move on. Let's see if we can get a little faster here. ASM 205, 206, 207, 217. Let's see if we can do this row faster than the previous one. Solid book. I am concerned a little bit with the coloring. Again, same sort of thing, just probably needs some spot treatment or whitening, dry cleaning. Not exactly sure. Again, I'd leave it to the professional to say what this book needs, but for the most part, other than the severe miswrap, it's just dirty. So structurally, really nice again, but hopefully that's not a stain and that's just maybe some shadowing. I like it though. Again, just kind of eyeballing, putting a general range together. ASM 205, probably the same as before, 9.4 to 9.8. Also, if you disagree with any of this, any of the grades that I'm putting together, please let me know. So a 251, I said 10, is that right? 104 for 9.4 on this one. Oh yeah, the last book I was saying. Assessed grade. Just making sure my calculations are right here. 104.50, that seems high. 251. Yeah, the 251 is correct. No, 104.50 on that fair market R46 RDU. Oh, I see. Cover Price has a 9.4 reported sale of this book at $134. So the data is correct from my source. Whether my sources are correct is another conversation. Okay, so $10.17 on this one is what I'm going to open with. And I'm the high bidder at 10.17. 206. Al Milgram on cover art on this one. Again, we got the miswrapped. Again, first glance, looks strong. I'll zoom in quickly. Kind of the same issues as before, just slightly dirty, but I don't know why, but I really love this. I love these books. I am concerned they're in the yellow. A little bit of color loss in the yellow. Again, could it be the flash of the camera? I don't think the flash is really going to lift color off of a comic book, but I'm trying to be generous and conservative at the same time. It's definitely dirty, but still like in the 9.4 to 9.8 range. I feel like it's going to land somewhere in there. Certainly could land 9.4, but it has the potential to be improved. I think 206. And I'm forgetting to drop the link, so I'll have to fix that later. 206. And what do we have? 135.45, so not as valuable as 204 and 205, but still very nice. When I say nice bid range, like within my budget. 403 is the opener on this one. It's already at $5, so I'm going to bump it to 807. And the target is like, cross my fingers and I hope I get the book at that amount or less. And then the max is sort of my walk away bid. Like, this is my final bid. I'm going to walk away. I don't even have to come back and look at it. ASM 207. I'm already seeing some color breaking spine ticks on this one. Corner has an issue there. So I'm thinking to myself already, probably max 9.4. So, again, just kind of going faster and not necessarily trusting quality comics, but like I'm starting to see the scans look the same. So on this one, I'm probably going 9 to 9.4. ASM 207, 9 to 9.4. And then let's very quickly see if this is worth it at all. Let's see here. Title 9 to 9.4. Yeah, still worth it. $1.09. I mean, again, we're talking the lunch money here. See, and that's 99 cents. So $1.93. Someone else is probably looking at this going, yeah, there's not much going for it. It has spine ticks, but outbid. So then I go back, 387. Put that in there, and I'm high bidder, and then I move on to the next. ASM 217. First appearance of the two-headed Spider-Man. Kevin says, "How dare you outbid me on 205?" Yeah, you're jumping. You're looking at the book and then you're going in and you're bidding right before me. Guys are a bunch of snipers. This one, dirty, discolored. Right, you could see that it's either tanned or just flat out dirty. This would be an absolute. Like, I don't know, if like you're gonna put it through the whitening treatment, like this is the one to me, like if you actually got it, it would pop. But then my concern would be is the yellow around Sandman's hands right here, like would the yellow turn into white? But anyway, like this is like screaming for some sort of dry cleaning or whitening treatment. But it structurally looks okay. I do see some spine ticks here that I want to zoom in on, but not bad. But yeah, this is probably, I don't know if we go down to 8.5. I see like a crease down here. This could be an 8.5 to 9.4. Let's just go through here. No, and I mean, there's one spine tick, I think, right in there, but that's dirt. This one's just exceptionally dirty. I might even say it's 8, like an 8 to 9.2. There's, I don't, it's slightly color breaking there. Let's go 8 to 9.4. Got kind of a wide range here, but I'll track 217. Let's take a look. So I said 8, max out 9.4 on 217. So I think I see what you're doing. You're watching the ranges. You're going and bidding before I jump in there. $1.65. So this one's at 8.25 already. So I'm out. So I'm just going to close it. Not even going to stress about it. If I really, really have to have a book like that, I can get it in a CGC 9.4 for $70 if I absolutely must have it. But I'm out. That just there's a lot of work that book needs that I'm not willing to pay for, and it's just the way it is. Oh, you know what? We'd need to assess 220. I'll get to 220 here in a second. Yeah, I know. We need to get into a deep dive on ASM 220 there. Let's start 219 real quick. This one typically is just littered with spine ticks because of the dark blue back here. Surprisingly, this copy looks strong. That should just be a little bit of a reaction to the staple in the picture, but this looks really, really nice. I think this is a Frank Miller cover, isn't it? Yeah, I like this one. Again, it's kind of the same sort of theme here. Just a little dirty, a little off-white on the back. Not too bad. Let me zoom in. Could be a little, maybe that's not a reflection off the staple. It could be, it's hard right there. I don't know. That could keep it from getting a 9.8, but all in all, that spine looks great. That corner does not look great. Maybe I give this one and stretch it to a 9.6. Yeah, lots of dirt on there. So 9.2 to 9.6 is kind of what I'm going to give this one. And again, it's not a perfect assessment. It's just as fast as I can go here. And giving myself a range so that if I'm wrong, it's still okay. So I said 9.2, 9.6. Yep. Again, pretty nice, right? Affordable, fun auctions to interact with. 241, 482 on this one. It's already at 5. My max is 722, so I'll just drop 722 and leave it alone. So if you love this book and you think I'm wrong and you're like, you know what, I can clean that up myself, go ahead, jump in there and outbid me. That's cool. Now 220. I'm not going to go into the whole backstory because this book does have a life of its own in terms of the story, but I can see a spine tick there. Spine tick coming off the staple. But really nice. I like this one. Back is really, really dirty. So I'm thinking probably 9.2 as is. Maybe a 9. Probably an... it's close. Hey, Darth Lopez. How you doing? 8:21 Central. Yes, you know... I hate doing this to myself. I start agonizing. Is it a 9? Is it a 9.2? Just, if you're not sure, go with the lesser. What does it max out as? 9.4 maybe? Maybe 9. Maybe. I don't see this getting 9.6. We could zoom in on the spine. I mean, it's just so tiny, that spine tick. Maybe it can get a 9.4. Maybe it is a 9.4. Is it higher than an 8? 100%. 100%. A little bit of color rubbing there. So it's a 9 to 9.4 to me on this one. So drop that in here at 220. And I said 9, 9.4. And according to oh, that's for 219. I was like, oh, see, it's this book continues to be worthless for so many reasons. No, in a 9.4, it's $109. So here is a very, very nice range, $4 to $12, and we are already at 10.50. So I'll go 12, 10. I probably shouldn't be showing you my bids, right? It's probably a mistake. Outbid on that one. And I'm out. So if there is somebody out there that loves that book for some weird reason, some sort of sick collector that wants that book higher than an 8.0, then yeah, this would be a great auction to jump in and participate. But for me personally, I'm maxing out at 12. Your mileage may vary, again, depending on what you want to do with the book. Maybe you just want to acquire it, press clean it, put it through a whitening treatment, whatever you want to do, and keep it in your PC raw. And you're not sending it into CGC, and you see the value, and you're like, I'll invest an additional $20 of my time to kind of move it up into this range. By all means, that's awesome too. Okay, keeping it going, ASM 228. You know, miswrapped, but okay, probably just some dirt coming around from the back. All of these books are kind of looking the same to me now. There's a little bit of a kind of a dog ear flap corner situation happening here. So absolutely needs to be pressed. And again, just working on the spine with an eraser, maybe at the top as well. If I zoom in real quick, looks good. Yeah, I like this one. I mean, not my favorite Spider-Man cover of all time. Guest starring Ant-Man here. A little bit of color loss at the top again. That I hate to always say like, well, it's the flash of the cameras, but like I don't know why all of these books that have a yellow cover look like that from this seller, and I'm anxious to get some of them back so I can see it in person. But yeah, this one looks great. Probably in that 9.4 to 9.8 range on ASM 228. So just remember to grab the link, ASM 228. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll jump ahead just so we're not just sitting here on Amazing Spider-Man the whole time. And I said 9.4 to 9.8. If you love that Ant-Man cover, 112. You know, it's Amazing Spider-Man, so I think it's, you know, it's always going to have some sort of built-in value, but not the most desirable book in the run, from $330 to $991, 99 cents. So, hey, I'm in for $3. Sure, why not? And there we go. One more ASM, and then I'll jump forward here. Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut. So already I'm seeing some tearing around the staple there, just a lot of staple stress. Is that Madame Web or Aunt May? I don't know. Corner issue there. And this book doesn't look as dirty, but I don't know if I want to deal with this. I don't like that part. I don't know what that is. But I'm just going to probably skip this book. Yeah, like some tearing around. I just, these aren't, you can't fix damage like that, so I'm just going to leave that one and move on. So let's jump ahead. There's more great ASMs in this 259. I love that one, so I'll probably come back and grab a few more of these, but you're just going to end up outbidding me by 20 or 30 cents on all of the books here. So this one, it's just filled with ASM and lots of low prices, so I'm excited to come back and take a look. The Gang War books, that's awesome. I love that run. Love 287 as a value pick, picking that up for $5. But let's move on to something else. And this isn't an ASM only. We got McFarlane ASMs in here. These are great. So I definitely recommend checking these out. These I was buying the ASM McFarlane's or the McFarlane ASMs, uh, $10 to $15 each. So and getting a lot of them back around the 9.4 grade. 325 is a good one. Anyway, wow, just auction after auction of ASMs. Lots of opportunity there. Let me just put it that way for everybody that wants to get in on this auction. We're on page 3 and it's still ASM. All right, I think we're finally out of it. Okay, so let's find some more. And again, I'm not going to go every book. These are books that I like, books that I want to target. So forgive me if there is a book that that you're looking at and you'd like me to run a quick assessment on it. I'd be more than happy to do it. I probably haven't about 20 minutes left here in the stream, so we'll get some more books in. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I've been forgetting to tag those first. Let's see. So corner crunch with a little bit of color break there. Actually, let me just zoom out for a second. So we've got that corner issue. So when I see that, automatically I'm thinking max is probably 9.2-ish, 9.2, 9.4, if that's the only problem whatsoever, but it's not. We've got some really, really nasty discoloration here at the top. Some sort of fungus. I picture myself with an eraser trying to erase that on the eraser getting stuck to the page because I don't know what that is. It's just, I don't know if that's what happens to snot over 40 years. I'm not sure. But really extremely dirty on this one. A little bit of corner crunch there. Yeah, as much as I would love this book, I don't know if... I mean, this is probably an 8. A little bit of a spine tick there. I mean, what does this book even max at with that? Maxing at a 9.2. I don't think it's really worth it. I'm just going to check the numbers here before I put it in. Like a 9.4 of this, the average is $55. That'd be a lot of work just to bring this book up to a 9.4, so I'm going to skip it. I do love a good 20-cent cover, so I'm going to pop these open, take a look. Again, just dirty. That's just the theme here. It's just dirty. The front cover, there's just so much work involved with this one. Miswrapped. And this is Astonishing Tales 15. Scrolling down to AST, Astonishing Tales 15. 15 in a 9.4. And $57. It'd be a project, but here's some on the T and the Y. There's something there. Oh, this could be like, I don't know what that line is up and down. I was gonna say it's a subscription crease, but I don't know. Just this one's too dirty. Just not worth the trouble. Astonishing Tales 21. This one appears to be a little better shape. The whole, like, the back covers that look like this, it just scares me. There's just so much work to do, and it just feels like it would be an absolute miracle. This one's weird. It's backwards. The 9.4 on this is worth more than the 9.6. And when I say worth more, I don't actually mean it. It is technically worth more. I'm just looking at the values. No 9.8s, no 9.8 data on this. 9.6s are around 168 on a couple sources, 195 on another, so like 175, 180, and a 9.6. Is it a 9.6? I don't know. The back cover with the mix of yellows and stuff. This is just, it's filthy, absolutely filthy. So yeah, like as is, could be an 8, could be an 8.5. Maybe I can't see this getting a 9. It's just gross. But structurally, looks okay. So I'm trying to remain consistent, and I'm going to track it. Astonishing Tales 21. This honestly is a book that like I would probably get from Midtown. I'd try and get it from there. Does it max 9.6? Now it's saying $59. Where is it getting that from? Oh, The Amazing Spider-Man. There we go, 107. So what is it at? Somebody sees this as a project they're willing to take on. I'm out. 1305 already for this book. This book is just, it's just got a lot of work to do. And I'm not even willing to pay to have somebody else babysit that book. It's just, it's too much. All right, a few Astro City books, Avengers books. I'm definitely gonna look at these. Avengers 41. And when I look at these, like I try to be fair and I try to be realistic, but sometimes you look at a book like this and you're just like, okay, hold on. My first impression is it looks great. It's well centered. The colors look strong. I like the cover. What am I missing, right? So with that It book or some of the other ones we've looked at, I'm like, it's almost like I need to convince myself to be interested. This one, I'm already interested. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to bid, but I'm definitely already interested in this one. I'm okay with the back looking this way. I want to zoom in on what some of the things I saw. So up here, we have this couple of creases that were from folds. Can't do anything with the color break there, but look at that. That's great. A little bit of corner crunch there with color break, but spotting or something, and that's gonna be tough. That's in the yellow, so good luck for those trying to get stuff out of yellow. But yeah, and not to go over the details of the back, but a little tear. So you know, we're already with the tear. You're already going. It had to be perfect to get a 9.2 with a tear. So now you're kind of working backwards from that. So we're looking at a 9. 8.5 with all the dirt and grime on the back, probably maybe closer to an 8 now. We've got those couple of things. So, you know, now we're in the 7s. But is this a 7 or a 7.5? Sure. I think so. So let's put down Avengers 41.
Fromington.com.
Sorry, Alexa was going off there, and I told her to. Yeah, I see you back there. Avengers 41. And I think that I was assessing it as is, so I would say a 7. What could it be cleaned up to? You know, it does have that tear. Well, yeah, it had the other color breaks. This is where what kind of improvement? Maybe an 8, possibly. And I think I'm already outbid. 1649 for that book. So, gosh, it's tough. So you could see, like, well, if you thought it could max at 9, well, then 18. I don't know if that book's getting a 9.0, especially with a few of the color breaks. But a pretty strong copy, even 8.5, maybe 1449. It's close. It's close to being worth it, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm still gonna track it. I am curious about that one. That one looks really good. Avengers 84. I think I won a copy of this the last time. This is a great Neil Adams cover on Avengers 84. So we've got the miswrapping, but just again, oh, Darth Lopez, Coffee and Comic Book Podcast. Yeah. You know, again, you kind of have to, if you're emotionally invested in something, so like maybe you're hunting this book specifically, you're going to be tempted to go ahead and outbid on something like this. This is absolutely a stunning cover. It's nostalgic. It's Silver Age. It's Avengers. It's Thor. Uh, so many great things going for it, but you still have to treat it like any other book. At first glance, it's got that sort of 9.0-ish feel. On the back, we've got a lot of rippling and a lot of dirt, but this does not. I know it looks bad, but it's not as bad as I think others are. I think this one has potential for cleaning, as is though, assuming there are no tears. So we'll just kind of run through it, just to make sure nothing's torn. Just a lot of waviness and rippling again that even a quick press would help with that. But God, just miss the days of these dynamic covers like this. Right there could be additional color break, but already if we're already talking about like a 7 to 9 book, that's not going to drag the book any further down. See that corner there had some stuff, some color breaks, but yeah, just man. To me, this maxes as a 9, and I think it could get a 9. I think. And I think, well, yeah, so there are those color breaks there. I'm going to put 7.5 to 9 as the range on this one and see if it's still worth it. 7.5, 9.0 for Avengers 84. Yeah, and again, with a book like this too, like the average reported grades, GPA, like sometimes I do have to play with these just to get the ranges to work out. Like 7.5 being worth more than a 9. Well, then do I make it a 9.2? But that book's not a 9.2, right? But is it 8.5? Yeah, I'm gonna put 8.5 just because that's 89, 72. So that I'm a little more comfortable with that range and those numbers. So $4, $8, $12 on this one. And it's already at $13.50, right? So then it's like, yeah, but I want it. I want it too, but I'm not going to bid on it. Okay, I've got time for maybe 2 more. So I'm just going to try and find a couple to eyeball. This Batman's cool. It's got Frank Miller right there on the cover. Look at that. Look at that. That's cool. I mean, while we're here, I don't know if I'm tracking Batman 253 now that I think about it. Let me just double check. Make sure I've got the data. Yeah, I don't. I'm not on that one. Let's see here. Batman 407. This is always interesting to see. This one looks pretty clean. That corner looks rough. I'm looking for another example here. Probably should have just stuck with Avengers. Love this Batman 405. Let's look at this one. Yeah, corner. Not bad. Probably a 9.4 max on this one. 9.4, 9.6 maybe. Some dirt on this one. This book is pretty easy to find. So I'm probably going to stay away just based on that. Dark Knight Returns is in here. That's cool. See what else they have. Oh, the God of Thongs, Thongor himself, makes an appearance in the auction. Creatures on the Loose 25 and 28. I do pick these up. Also want to look at that Captain Marvel real quick. Try and find one more example. See if I have Captain Marvel 15. This one looks, you know, again, probably in that 7 to 8. And it has the stamp. I know stamps on the front, sometimes they detract from the grade, sometimes they don't. Like I've seen like Golden Age books with stamps get, you know, in the 9s, and because they just, I think they just flat out ignore it. I'm not a fan. I don't want additional writing or anything on the cover, so I just ignore those. This one looks pretty good. A lot of stuff happening on this cover. I can't keep up. Let's see the back real quick. Dirty, nasty, grimy, folds. You know, I feel like when I see that, I just, in my mind, I just drop it to a 9. Honestly, these are the books that I buy from Mile High Comics because nobody really is looking at these unless they're already slabbed in high grade. It's just not worth the trouble. Creatures on the Loose 25. Just to run those numbers real quick. 9.4 average of that. Again, it's backwards. 9.4 is 120, 9.6 is 47. So I just sort of in my mind reverse them. You know, is it a $50 book? It's 99 cents. So it's tough. Same thing with this one. This one has a little bit of a higher bid. Maybe somebody sees it in better shape than the other. And at first glance, it does look better. Yeah, it's not as dirty. So let's do Creatures on the Loose 28. Grab the data. Skip 25, put in 28. So this will be the last book I assess here if we're curious. Darth Lopez says, Mr. Moneyball grabbed an Electra 3 1 in 25 Connor variant for $6.99 yesterday. Never seen it before. Yeah. The ratio incentives, I think it falls off people's radar or something, man. So great pickup. I'm dealing with this with slabbed incentives where I won an auction yesterday and I paid the same as cover A, and it was a 1 in 25. So same title, same issue, and I won the 9.8 of a 1 in 25 for the same price as cover A. It's just like at some point, if you're pre-ordering a 1 in 25, it's like you're all in, and I'm going to get it for under ratio. I'm going to get it for $19.99 or something. It's a steal. And then later on, it's almost like everything just sort of dissolves and evens out. Unless you're, you know, really in the know and you're talking about other people or talking to other people that are in the know, you can get those incentives later on for a steal. So great pickup. Let me finish this one. So Creatures on the Loose, let's give it a realistic assessment here. You know, up there, that's already going to kill the chances at a 9.8. But spine looks really good. Spine tick there, 9.6. Now we're talking maybe 9.4 due to that corner. So probably max 9.4 now. That's not dirt. It's just part of the thong. If I had a nickel every time I heard that. Dirty on the back. So just, yeah, lots of dirt all over this thong. You know, 8.5 to 9.4 is probably just to be consistent with my other grading. So 8.5, 9.4. Again, backwards grades. Just there aren't a lot of these that are graded. So let me see if I can find some numbers that give me a more realistic range. Yeah, this book just doesn't have a lot of value when it's graded. So even maxing out 9.6, so if we just bump it just to see, $52. Yeah, it's a $1, $2, $3 bid if you want to do anything with this. So unfortunately, I'll probably just stay away from that one. It's kind of a bummer. I don't want to end on that one. This book comes up a lot. Dazzler #1. This looks pretty strong. Not her first appearance, her first solo. Let me look at the ranges on this one. Dazzler. Dazzler #1 does have some value in a 9.8. 180. 54, 50 on a 9.6. This one looks pretty good. Not seeing a lot of problems. Slightly miswrap, but that's not bad. It's pretty straight. Let's track this one, and then I'm going to call it here. Dazzler #1. And as I'm putting in the data, thank you, Sean, Kevin, Mr. Darth Lopez. Thank you for being in the chat. It makes it more fun and interesting to talk comics, talk about the process, argue with people that press and clean. Always a good time. So appreciate you guys being here. Let's drop this in and zoom in just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Spine looks pretty good. Looks great. Is this a 9.8 by itself? Maybe. Nope. It's dirty. But I think this book maxes 9.8, so that's pretty nice. So this would get like a 9.4, 9.8 type of range. 9.4, 9.8. And that's the range I would expect to see on a book like that. So $5 is my opener. $5.62. So I'm excited for this one. Nice. $4.25. I am the high bidder. So there you go. All right. So that was it. Hopefully that was interesting. This is really more, just to kind of recap, this was like, if you had this spreadsheet, how would you use it? How would you identify books quickly? And also what this did is it helped me kind of learn what I need to cut down on in order to, you want to track as many books as possible. You want to understand the values. You want to be able to assess the books faster. There's the human element that you want to get really, really good at and fast at. And then the spreadsheet part, again, it's going to cut down the time with which you'd have to go out and go to your online comic book price guide resource and try and look up this information and type it all in. So just trying to evaluate as many books as possible for the least amount of time to make sure that you're making the most sound financial decisions when you're bidding on the books, and to try as much as possible to remove emotions out of it to keep yourself from overpaying and overbidding. Thank you for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time.